Hello there, my name is Kuma. A while ago, the community was making a lot of noise around W Alter, about how strong she is, and how the power creep is too much in Arknights. You know the drill. We as a community had that talk at least half a dozen times before, just with different characters. But there was a single argument I heard this time that was brought to me that actually makes some sense when you're trying to explain why you don't like W Alter's power level. And this was it. I don't like how strong she is because I like her kit, but I can't have fun playing with her because she effortlessly kills all the enemies. And I was actually impressed to hear a good argument for once. Because this is something that I myself have been living with for the last 3 years. So I thought I would share some of my favorite 6-star kits in Arknights that I cannot play with because they are way too strong. And for some other reasons as well. We'll get to that. Of course, don't forget to like the video if you enjoy what you see. Let's get to it. Why don't we start with Poziomka? Because I really like this character. Not only as a tower in our beautiful tower defense game, but as a character as well. I like her lore of a noble being forced into becoming a fugitive from Ursus, and how her life turned for the better when she stumbled upon the Durins. It's a lot of cool stuff. She always tries to explain how her life back in Ursus was, but the Durins can't understand because they don't even know what this no is. It's really great. I recommend reading a little bit about it, maybe. But as a tower, she has a lot going on for her. She's a sniper, a class I have always appreciated. She has a summon that enemies can't get rid of, which is not very common in this game. She has an unlimited duration skill, and I know we all love infinite skills. Of course, I myself don't have access to a lot of those because of my choice of playing 4 stars, but I totally get why they are comfy to play with. Poziomka also has a power strike on her second skill, amazing for playing integrated strategies, or even for just buffing with your bards and medics. Like, come on, you know how much I love power strikes. I can never stop talking about it. They are very simple skills, but they give me all the fun whenever I can play with them. It's just great. This skill also reduces the redeploy time of her typewriter, her summon, which is great. If you have a cool summon, I'm sure you will want to use it as much as possible, right? Why not? And of course, you even have the flavor of the heavy shooter class on her S3, the extra damage they deal on the tiles directly ahead of them. You will find that on every heavy shooter, although it's less noticeable on the 6 stars. I guess it's because they are so strong that you can hardly notice that. And of course, all this power, all this strength is what makes Poziomka a little bit sad for me, because I really can't play with her because of it. Well, I mean, technically I can, there's nothing stopping me from playing with her. But just like the guy who told me they find Wizardel a bit too over the top, same is true for me and this whole list. That's why we're doing this. And this next one might be unexpected for a lot of you, because we had a different loud talk about this operator a while ago. And many players in our community think this is a character that fell off and is like not strong at all. I'm sure you all have seen that on CN, they released 2 new modules that are cheaper to make, but that you can only use inside IS. Well, I guess we have to talk a bit about that, because the next operator I find too strong, even though I really like her kit, is Kautsit. I wouldn't say I'm that big of a fan of Kautsit's personality. She has some vibes of that unlikable character, because they live it for too long, so they are disconnected from our reality. Which is partially true for Kautsit, she has lived through a lot. But also, Kautsit is always depicted as knowing everything that is going on, but she refuses to convey any of that knowledge to us. Everyone living around her in Rhodes Island is just living by her whims. At least that's the impression that I get from her. And also we have the memes that she yaps too much in the lore, of course. But that's something that we can put aside. Other than that, Kautsit's kit is honestly phenomenal. I can't say it makes much sense that she is a medic. Did you know that the basic medic class is called medic? I wonder why they didn't even try to differentiate. But Kal'Tsit has Monster of course, which is her entire kit. By herself she doesn't really do much. She can use her S1 and be a weird ranged tank who doesn't even have that much HP. But when you bring Monster into the scene, she has such an interesting kit. On her S1, Monster becomes a protector. It goes to 1000 defense and still has physical resist, which is kinda rare. On her S2, Monster becomes a Centurion, attacking all blocked enemies. And on her S3, Monster simply deals true damage, which is much less rare than it was a couple years ago when she was released, but it's still not that spread across that many operators. So I do think it is still very cool, the true damage that Kal'Tsit has. Not only that, but have you seen how quick Kal'Tsit cycles her skills? She has the best cycles in the game. And whatever I have to say about it, it is as my old grandma used to say, more skills, more gooder. So yes, I very much enjoy the idea of having skills that you can use non-stop, that just recharge so fast like hers. Now, I won't talk in details about her modules, in fact, I won't do it for anyone in the list, but we gotta have a look at her IS module at least. Because it honestly baffles me that some people were saying that Kal'Tsit and Phantom needed these modules to be relevant. I just couldn't believe people were using these words. And they were mad because this module got stuck behind IS. And that is just crazy to hear when you see how absurd the modules are and after seeing the whole Isadel situation. People just can't be happy. You see something that is too strong, people get mad. You see something that is not that strong, people call trash. It's absurd. I guess we can't be happy. I guess we all only want to complain, one way or another. It's just crazy. As for what her IS module does, it makes Monster not use a deploy slot. She can heal 2 targets at once, which goes in contrast to her talent that forces Kal'Tsit to prioritize healing herself and Monster, so she was always a bad medic. And on top of that, Monster simply gets plus 50% attack, max HP, and healing received. Of course, in my eyes, this is not what breaks Kal'Tsit. I always thought she was too much already, but talk about cherry on top, my dude. This is absurd. And just before we go to the next character, look at my Kal'Tsit. She is max spot and I didn't level her at all. She is only like this because of an accident on her release. I barely even wanted to get Kal'Tsit. And good thing I always save up 300 pulls, as you should do if you think before you act. But of course the topic today is not about how to not be a gambling addict. So let's just go to the next operator on our list. And this one is going to be much simpler. Because the only thing I like in this character is her talent. And honestly, the talent by itself is already so cool that I don't even care about the rest. I'm talking about Texas Alter. I am not a Texas enjoyer though. I think her character is weak and not developed enough. All her lore is about other characters being tied to her instead of her own life and objectives. Or at least that's the vibes I got from the events she's been on. And I doubt anyone will try to go against me when I say that Texas Alter is way too strong. People have always loved how busted she is. And you know, you have that saying, just deploy Texas and you will kill everything. You know how it goes. And of course I don't have any problem with people who like strong characters. That's fine, you can live your life, that's why you have the choice anyways. But for me, it's just too much. But let's have a look at her kit anyway. As I said, I don't particularly care about her skills. I only care about her first talent. And what a talent, man! This thing is way too fun. It simply deploys Texas again. And that is a big deal because she is a fast redeploy and all her skills are on deploy skills. So Texas gets deployed, does her business whatever she wants to do, and if you have any semblance of a weak enemy in her range, that enemy will die and she will retrigger her skills again. She gets to full HP, just like she would from a full redeploy, she gets the full effects of her skills again, It's genuinely amazing. And of course, you could argue that this skill would never work on a low power level operator. I have heard that a couple times before. But I'm not thinking about the logistics here. I don't care. I just think this idea of triggering on-deploy effects twice is absurdly fun. It's something I wish I could see explored a bit more in other operators, and I wish I could play with her, for her talent alone. But I can't, because, as I said, she just wins too easily. And I didn't even pull for her, cause as I said, I'm not a Texas enjoyer, so no dice for me one way or another, I just can't play with her. But who I am an enjoyer of is this next operator in the list. Well, at least one of them, but I don't hate the other, because yes, I am putting two characters in this one together, because they share my favorite class in the game, and their skills don't really matter that much for my enjoyment of them. If you have been around before, you know I love Phalanx casters, and I'm talking about Lin and Carnelian. Let me tell you, there is nothing more satisfying in this game than seeing an AoE operator go hand on a massive group of enemies. I partake in this activity often with Ethan and Pinecone, but I can appreciate other ops who can do the same. But if that was not enough, Phalanx casters are super tanky ranged operators. They have increased defenses when off skill, Lin doesn't even take damage below a certain threshold, and Carnelian can even heal herself when she activates her skill. How cool is that? A wall that you can deploy on ranged tiles who will most likely not die until they go angry mode and you're hitting 30 enemies with every hit. Just from that, there's already so much versatility on how you can deploy them, on how you can make them tank and save their skills for the right moment. I could go over each individual skill, but I don't think I need to, because whatever their skills do, they all hit a lot of enemies at once. That is the important part for me. Lin and Carnelian might not be the flashiest characters in the game. I'm sure you could tell me a lot of operators who can do more impressive stuff in the comments, but both of them make me smile every time I see them being played. And that is what matters to me. How happy I can be playing the game. That's what should matter for everyone. The sad part is that the fun doesn't last for very long with this two, because a couple hits in, and the massive wave of enemies you carefully prepared is already dead. I'm telling you, if Hypergriff releases a 4-star Phalanx caster, I will be the happiest Arknights player alive. And thankfully, this is not the same problem that I have with the next operator in the list, because we do have a 4-star in her class, and I play a lot with the low rarity one. It's another one of my favorite classes. I think every single operator in this class is unique, they don't have generic skills and they all do impressive things. And I'm talking about merchants, and about Swire Altar in specific. Don't get me wrong, I do like Liskit a lot as well, but I want to focus on Swire today. Different from the Phalanx casters, her skills do matter, because as I said, the skills on all the merchants matter. Swire as a character has never been someone I completely vibe with. The archetype of rich girl she has doesn't really scratch my itching anyway, but I also don't dislike her, I don't have anything against Swire. She has some nice moments in the lore, especially in the newer events, where she's trying to leave her family behind and do her own thing, and of course the Lungman group with Chen, Lin and Hoshiguma, it has a nice chemistry going on in there. As for Swire's kit, her talents already start off great. She turns the merchant trait of consuming DP into a resource she can use herself. Swire creates coins every time she eats your DP, and she can either use those coins on her skills, or just keep them in her purse, giving her some extra stats. That is such a nice spin on the trait, which is exclusively a negative trait. With Swire, you're still losing your DP, but at least you're getting something in exchange for it. At the end of the day, it's more a feels good than a real upside, but we all know that things that feel good are really good to feel. And her second talent is also a really nice one, because Swire simply refuses to die. The Reaper comes to visit her, and she just bribes him away. Although she can't revive infinitely. But the couple revives she gets are really nice to play around. Depending on your situation, you could have Swire to a very strong and slow attacking boss, while you get your skills ready again. And of course, Swire is doing stuff while she sits there waiting for your DP to drain. Because as I said before, each skill is unique and fun to play with. S1 is a healing defender skill, on a specialist of all things. Her S2 summons bottles around her that deal damage and slow, and Swire has a very smart targeting when putting down these bottles. If she has an enemy in range, she's gonna summon the bottles on top of the enemy again and again. You're not gonna lose bottles. And her S3 is a funny skill where Swire just throws money at the enemy so hard that they get pushed back. How fun is that? There's so much you can come up with while playing with Swire that it's really a letdown for me, just how much damage she can ditch. She can do a little bit too much for my tastes, which is of course very sad for me. I am aware that I am a little bit off the beaten path when it comes to my opinions about the power level of the operators in the game, but Arknights has a lot of fun stuff going on. Even if I can't play with the 6 stars that I honestly enjoy their kit, just because they are a little bit too strong, that's fine. I have cool stuff that I can do with low power operators, with operators in low rarity that still do cool stuff, even if not as shiny. For many players, the release of Wizardell was the first time they felt this feeling of, this is a bit too much for me. But I can assure you, this is not the end of the road, and this will happen many times again. Wizardell will be power crept, they will release stronger operators than her that have more numbers, more damage, are easier to play, get faster skills, all that you can imagine. It will happen. But we survived the end of Arknights multiple times already. The game is massive in China, and it will continue like that at least for a while. It's not the power creep of the operators that will kill the game, because this is what we have been living with since the release of Arknights. That has been the case. The 6 stars have always been way stronger than the bosses they throw at us. So this is just something that you and me, we gotta live with. That being said, I would like to hear in the comments what operators do you like but are too strong for you to enjoy. Or is that nonsense to you and all you want is more power? Let me know in the comments. But that's gonna be it for today. I hope everyone has a very nice day. Peace out.